gods who created the universe descended from heaven to live among humans on the condition that they never use their divine abilities again. The blessing is the gods' only remaining power, which they give to humans to help them level up their abilities. These people, referred to as familia, become the god. As Familia, Minotaur nearly kills Bel Cranel, the only member of the goddess Hesh's familia. He is saved and falls in love with Is Wallenstein, a high-level adventurer and member of the familia of the goddess Loki. Hester realizes he's gained the magical skill release phrase, which will rapidly raise his level based on the strength of his feelings as he fights. But she decides to keep it a secret because it makes him extremely valuable. Bel's stats skyrocket. The next day, after more adventuring, Bel intends to speak with Is, but he overhears her familia discussing how embarrassed he was fighting Minotaur. He dashes off, oblivious to how pitiful he must appear in comparison to Is, and stumbles into the dungeon to blow off steam. He slays as many monsters as he can and returns to Hester the next morning, battered and bleeding but victorious and inspired. To keeps release phrase a secret fro. Bel claiming that his improvement is the result of his hard work, and she tells him she'll be gone for a few days. Hester goes to Jeff Stoves, the god of smiths, and begs her to forge a weapon for Bel. Has to persuades Hephaestus to forge a weapon after hours of groveling in the Dodessa position on the condition that has to pay for it no matter how many centuries it takes for Bel. Hephaestus creates an enchanted tent. An unnamed goddess contacts Loki in the hopes of finding someone in a familiar she wants to buy, whose description perfectly matches Bel's. Hester tracks Bill down and insists on a romantic date. The goddess, who has yet to be named, orders are captured. Albino gorilla monster to capture Bel. Hestu and Bel are cornered, and Bel attacks it with his original knife, which shatters. He locks Hestu on the other side of a metal gate, desperate to protect her, and prepares to fight the gorilla unarmed. After his grandfather was killed, Bel decided to become an adventurer, eventually arriving in Orario and meeting Hestia, becoming a member of her familia, the god Ganya Huzarina. The gorilla was released from borders that had been recaptured before it causes harm to innocent people. Hestia eventually returns to Bel, and the two of them flee the gorilla together as to bestows on Belly Tanto, which he dubs the Hester knife, a living weapon enchanted to become more powerful. As Bel grows stronger, Bel's stat level rises dramatically as he holds the weapon for the first time, and he kills He gorilla in a matter of seconds. Hundreds of people witnesses act, including Is, who smiles before walking away. As the unknown goddess watches from afar, Hestia passes out. Bel realizes the Heston life was forged by Hephaestus, meaning it was extremely expensive. As Hester recovers, and he swears to up believing in Hestia. Meanwhile, in the dungeon, adventurer Jedraish is seen abusing a young girl named Lo Ruckert, forcing her to carry his equipment and threatening to kill her if she disobeys him. Bel decides to explore the dungeon's more dangerous levels. Guild advisor Aina Tull insists that they purchase better armor for him. When Aina shows up dressed for a date, Bel becomes agitated, and to come across Hester working to pay off her debt to Hephaestus. Hester becomes envious of Aina. Bel purchases armor from an unknown blacksmith, and Aina gives him extra wrist armor. Bel save as Lilaruka from Jed's clutches, but she vanishes. Willow Rooker reappears, revealing herself to be a shapeshifter, and offers her assistance only as a supporter. Before stealing the Hester knife, she tries to sell it, but it becomes blunt and worthless once she's separated from Bel. Ryulian, a waitress Ram, hostess of fertility, notices her carrying the knife. Villaruka flees and collides with Bel splits the money they earned evenly with her now that his knife has been returned, despite Lil Ruka's attempts to steal it. This surprises her because all of her previous partners had paid her almost nothing. While the unknown goddess, revealed to be Freya, watches Bel. Is as seen in the dungeon preparing to fight a powerful monster. When Hesta sees Bel with Lil Ruka, she is devastated as to accepts Bel's invitation to dinner. Hester goes to a public bath and brags to the goddess Demir X Attic at the prospect of going on with Bill. When Bel arrives for their date, she discovers that Demeter has spread the rumor far and wide, and she is surrounded by goddesses eager to meet Hester's first boyfriend. As a result, they spend the majority of the day attempting to avoid detection after having the money Bel gave her stolen by members of her Psalm of Familia. Lilaruka becomes determined to steal Bel's knife. Despite Bel's continued kindness to her, Bill learns the fireboat spill after borrowing a book on magic from Sir. He rushes to the dungeon to put his new ability to the test, but due to his lack of experience with magic, he overexerts himself and passes out. Is locates him and holds him in her lap until he awakens. He then flees, having once again embarrassed himself in front of her. Bel refuses an offer from Jed to make a profit by stealing the money Lilaruka had managed to solve. He for herself by hiding it from the sound of familia. Leela was forced to become a supporter after her parents died and she grew to despise all adventurers. The Loki familia discovers that the Psalm of Familia have stopped worshipping their god and have started brewing a potent wine that has adventurers handing over their entire fortunes for a Sith since he ran away from her again. Eyes, who has grown interested in Bel, has been depressed and suspicious of Lilaruka, requests a favor from Eyes. The Laruka tricks Bel into fighting powerful monsters in the dungeon and steals his knife once more. Jed, who is suddenly betrayed by the Sama Familia, captures her before being left to be killed by monster ants. Jed is killed and Lilaruka is forced to surrender her bank key. She has accepted her death and is surprised when Bel appears and saves her. The Laruka sobs and confesses to cheating or stealing from him on numerous occasions. Regardless, Bel forgives her and the two form an unbreakable bond. Meanwhile, Eyes, who had hid in the thick fog to kill the monsters attacking Bel without him noticing her, is furious with herself for forgetting to apologize to him when she discovers a piece of his armor and he had lost during the battle. Lily takes Bill to Hesta and apologizes for her actions, which Hester reluctantly accepts and tells her to keep an eye on Bel. They then fight over him before he flees embarrassed. When Bel arrives at Inna's house, Eyes is waiting for him and stops him before he can flee. Eyes returns his lost arm gauntlet, which he discovered in the dungeon, and apologizes for scaring him away so many times. He in turn apologizes and thanks her for saving him so many times. Eyes agrees to train him to improve his combat skills after reflecting on his lack of strength in achieving his goal. Bill is repeatedly knocked out during their training, but he gets up and tries again. Eyes inquires as to why he is so strong and he responds that it is because he wants to be closer to someone. They come across Hester working while out getting food, and she becomes enraged when she sees him with another girl. She reluctantly agrees to let him train with her again. Meanwhile, Freya sends Otter, her captain, into the dungeon to tame and arm Minotaur before unleashing him on the upper floors. Bel discovers Eyes has ranked up to level 6, increasing his desire to reach her. Ryu tells her he would look to expand his party and go on adventures to level up while helping him with chores. Bel and Eyes finish their training as the Loki familia enters the dungeon while exploring for 9. With Lily, Bel is cornered by a Minotaur and freezes. Lily is knocked out trying to save him, leaving Bel to fight alone, barely keeping up. Eyes and the Loki familia arrive to save him, but Bel pushes them away, claiming never to be saved by her again. He holds the Minotaur back, pushing himself to his limits in front of Lily and the Loki familia. In the end, he slays the Minotaur with his own sword and AP. Powerful firebolt. Bel has defeated the monster, leaving the Loki familia speechless, especially after learning all his ranks. Or as Bel wakes up at home comforted by Hestia reflecting on his strength, Bel reaches level 2 and gains the Argonaut skill. Bel is nicknamed Little Rookie by Hester and the other gods. At a meeting with the adventurers, Ryu tells them to join a party if they want to go to the middle floors and avoid the dangers. Bel meets Wealth Cross a while looking for more armor. Wealth offers Bel more armor and discounts if he joins his party with Wealth. In the dungeon, Lily fears the Ruzzo, estranged from the Hefstos familia in battle with the dragon. Bel discover versus Argonaut ability gives him a last-minute boost. Meanwhile, Bel's actions inspire the Loki familia, making them fight harder. Bel later learns from Hestia that Wealth, like his descendants, can make magic swords, but who says not to for Wealth. This is because magic swords bring out the worst in people, and he wants his work to stand alone. He reforges Bel's bullhorn into a knife as a thank you. Bel, Wealth, and Lily later prepare to enter the dungeon's middle floors. Hester worries about Bel's safety as they descend into the middle floors, citing recent earthquakes. Meanwhile, Hermes and as they start looking for information on Bel, Wealth, and Lily are cornered by a horde of rabbit monsters. When the Take Me Kazuchi familia retreats, Bel and his party must deal with the hellhounds chasing them as they pass P. Raid them out of the room. They try to fight back and escape, but the earthquakes strike, injuring Wealth and close using them in. With no other option, Lily suggests they go to the 18th floor safe zone to rest, which Bel agrees to do. Take Me Kazuchi and his family apologize for their actions and ask Hester's help in rescuing Bel. Hermes appears, offering his and his fees help in the quest despite the fact that gods are not allowed in the dungeon. Bel and the party struggle to survive as the monsters grow, while Hestia and her party prepare to enter the dungeon with Ryu's help. Bel, Lily, and Wealth see continue their journey deeper into the dungeon, with Hestia and her party trailing behind. Hestia confronts Hermes about his obsession with Bel, revealing that he's been assigned to keep an eye on him by someone. Wealth and Lily become exhausted and Bel is left to carry them the rest of the way. He Rely makes it past the Goliath boss on floor 17 and to the 18th floor before passing out. Belle wakes up in a tent next to Eyes, whose family was revealed to have rescued and helped heal the three of them. Belle expresses his gratitude and Eyes shows him around. When Hestia and her party finally catch up with her and Belle reunited, they are treated to dinner as guests later that night. After everyone has recovered, Nikoto and her family apologize for their actions, which Belle accepts, albeit reluctantly. With Wealth and Lily following, that Eyes goes to check on Belle and informs him of the town on the flu. Our Hestia, who has been listening in on the conversation, shows up and invites herself to the visit. Meanwhile, Wealth is troubled by Hephaestos' suggestion that he reconsider his stance on magic swords. Belle and the rest of the group visit Rivera, where Belle runs into a couple of aggressive adventurers with whom he had a previous encounter. While the girls take a bath, Hermes takes Belle somewhere to talk. Belle realizes Hermes brought him only to spy on the girls, and while attempting to flee, falls in and runs away. After seeing Eyes naked, he runs into Ryu, who reveals that she is the lone survivor of a murdered family who was blacklisted from the guild after avenging their deaths before being taken in by Sir Bill. Manages to cheer her up despite her warnings not to rely on her. Jealous of Belle's progress, the rogue adventurers devise a plan to retaliate. Pesto is kidnapped by the adventurers as Eyes and her family return home, leaving a letter for Belle to face them alone. The lead adventurer challenges Belle to a duel in which he uses a magic helmet to turn invisible and beat Belle. The encounter is set up by Hermes to put Belle's abilities to the test as Bill fights back and turns the battle on the rest of the party arrives as reinforcements and an escape. Hestia uses her divine powers to scare them all away. An evil quake begins to occur on the floor before they can fully recover. An even more powerful version of the Goliath floor boss wreaks havoc on the 18th floor. Belle and the rest of the party go to help and rescue the other adventurers, while SV gathers the locals to team up and defeat the beast. While everyone takes the time to set up an attack, she and Ryu work to keep the Goliath at bay regardless of how much magic they throw at it. The Goliath quickly heals and continues to death. Troy Bill unleashes a powerful fireball blast using his Argonaut skill, but it's not enough and the monster attacks him. Alka manages to shield Belle, but they're both knocked back and unconscious. Belle wakes up after hearing Hestia, Lily, and Hermes' inspiring words and wanting to prove his desire to be a hero with a magic sword in hand. Ryu, Sv, Mikoto, and Wealthy strike the monster directly, giving Belle enough time to charge up and deliver the final blow, nearly disintegrating it and destroying the crystal within before it can heal. As everyone applauds, Hermes exclaims to Zeus that Belle is the last of his family and that he has the potential to be the hero the world requires. To commemorate the occasion, everyone gathers at the tavern in Orario. Like and subscribe. See you on the next one.